week, we'll be giving away some fly frogs, and that'll be next week. So if you're a holder, just keep a lookout for that announcement. Today we're just chatting and having fun, talking about NFTs and just the Fly Frogs project. We also have Minnie here, so we can get insights into where some of the art on the Axolotl side too, as always, and then just some commentary on NFTs in general and where we're at right now in the space. So really, really happy to have everyone here. Maybe we can do a quick round of intros to let everyone know who we've got on the phone here. We also, I should just mention, we'll be recording this. Our community loves listening to these things after the fact because not everyone can jump on at exactly this time. So we will be sharing this around our community. So just keep that in mind. If we have questions at the end, if we don't have a huge hundreds of people here, we should be able to do hand raises, and so we'll hopefully be able to get to some Q&A at the end too. Cool. Let's go ahead and do a quick round of intros. Zyder, I lead marketing here, working on partnerships and spaces and all kinds of fun stuff for the Axos. So really happy to be here. Have had a lot of fun and great interactions with the Fly Frogs team. So maybe we can go down the line. Minnie, do you want to introduce yourself, and then we can get to our guests?
So I'm Minnie Yami. I'm one of the co-founders of Axolittles, and I'm the artist and I would say director of the Aquarium. So right now I handle the creation of our little metaverse.
Nice. I like the sound of the art director over there. Fly Frogs, who do we have with us on your side?
I'm Molly, Molecule as I'm known in the pond, and I do the coding, the development work for Fly Frogs.
Yeah, and I'm Josh, and I draw frogs. And I've slowly but surely been learning how to be a frog on Twitter and Discord.
Cool.
Nice. And I'm Rizzle from many different things. I've co-founded and produced many projects within the NFT space, and I was not an original part of the team. I actually just stumbled upon the frogs and fell in love with their art, and felt like they just needed a hand getting involved in the community and introducing some weird things to do with the NFTs, and we've been doing that, and it's been a lot of fun. And I also pretend to be a frog on Twitter, which is also pretty fun.
Cool.
Yeah, Rizzle fell in love with our Google AIs, so we were happy to welcome him into the pond.
It's a true story.
He basically just said he wanted to be named Lord of the Pond, and we said yes.
We want this title as well. We like the ponds.
Yeah.
Also, Zyder, I think he got out, so I think we lost Zyder.
It was good for a second there, Zyder.
Yep. I'll send him a message. Be right back.
Cool. Well, I can elaborate on being a frog on Twitter, I guess. So I actually kicked the Fly Frogs team a message saying I really love your art. They had released the Fly Frogs, but they didn't sell a ton of them right off the bat. It sort of got buried in this barrage of profile pictures that had gotten released all at the same time. And so I hit them up, and I met Josh and Molly, and I thought they were awesome. Josh has some incredible background in the in real life toy industry, and has made tons of dope stuff for kids for real that I'll let him explain. And Molly is a whiz, man. She doesn't talk a whole lot on Twitter and isn't super vocal about what she's got going on, but I felt very confident that she would be able to deliver the type of weird experimental breeding tokenomics experiments that I am really interested myself, just from being a huge fan in NFTs. So I hit him up and I said, yo, I got this wacky idea. I think you guys are cool. I'd love to spin up a Twitter account called Lord of the Pond, and just create this really dynamic weird frog community, and we can introduce a bunch of strange NFT experiments to the community and all pretend to be frogs and do this weird thing together. And it just sort of happened. Like we hatched an idea. I pulled a buddy of mine in who was like neck deep in NFTs as well, Chupacabra on Twitter. And we put this plan in place and like sort of hinted at it and sold through like 10,000 frogs in like 2 hours or something like that, just after we had hatched this plan. So that expedited everything, and so I'm just sort of out here like LARPing as a frog on Twitter. I don't actually do and running my mouth just like this. Josh and Molly put in like all the hard work. And we got like a really dope community. You can see we've got our frog detective in the audience right now, who's like actually a real frog detective, and tracked down some of the people who we owed bounties to. And so we got frogs in positions doing important frog duties, and we just have a good time.
That's
I
awesome.
love that in our like pond fly frog dynamic, I'm the one that's not talking between me and Josh, because like in our real life, the reverse is true.
Yeah.
Right. Like Josh is the quiet one, and I never shut the hell up. But
Yeah.
then like in the frog world,
Because
we
I
get to.
I get excited when I pretend to be a frog
Yeah,
on
you just
social
can't
media.
stop talking.
But in real life social situations at the party, I'm usually like, hey, I like to hang out with Molly because she does a lot of the talking, right?
So I have the human social interactions down, and you cover our amphibious ones.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's good. That's good. I mean, which one's even more important at this point? Maybe the frog one.
See, I'm very future looking.
Exactly.
Cool. Hopefully I'll stay in here. If I cut out, just let me know, and we'll get Rizzle in there to jump in and make some frog noises. So
good.
Cool. Awesome. Well, definitely love the community and everything that you're building over there. Would also love to hear. So from our side, we've got the Aquarium in development, and we're excited to bring some partner projects into that too, to hang out in 3D spaces there. But I'm curious kind of how you're building your world over there, and how you're thinking about kind of building out the elements of what you can do and where you can hang out, and what it means to kind of hang out in the pond over there. And maybe we can then, maybe Minnie, you can chime in too on how we're thinking about doing that with Aquarium.
Cool. Yeah, we have. I mean, we discuss. We have a lot of plans, and that we've been discussing for the future. But one of the things that we've been telling our pond members to do is to keep their families together. So tadpoles was our next big thing, and our next thing that we released. When was that, Molly? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, and we're creating families of frogs and tadpoles, and that is sort of our foundation for the plans that we have in the future. So first we're frogs, then we're tadpoles to create families, and now the next big thing will be coming soon. I won't say yet, but yeah, if you want to talk about tadpoles at all, Molly, that was a really cool project that Molly figured out how to do between mainnet and Polygon, and making a really simple, cool breeding experience. And also a very gas efficient breeding experience for our frog members.
That's crazy. Molly, would you mind talking just a bit about how you integrated Polygon into all of that? Because we're also thinking about, how do we integrate a ton of items into the Aquarium? How do we allow people to easily transact with a bunch of stuff? So would love to get your experience and thoughts on how you integrated that.
Cool. Yeah. It was tough to wrap my head around, because as you know, Ethereum can't talk to Polygon directly. So I think like that was the trickiest part, was figuring out the best way to do that. And there's a lot of different ways. What we settled on, so before Tadpoles came out, we had airdropped flies to our holders on Polygon with a bunch of other random stuff that has not been used yet, but focus on the flies. So you spend the flies to breed your frogs and get a tadpole. And the tadpole is a mainnet ETH NFT. But the thing that we're like burning to pay for that is on Polygon. So the way we ended up doing it is you come to our website, you sign a message basically saying, burn my flies. On the back end, we like we burn their flies for them. So because everything's so cheap on Polygon, the Fly Frog wallet is able to do that. And then we send back a signed message that basically says how many tadpoles this is good to redeem for. So I would love to generalize this for anybody to use, because you can imagine a world where it's basically just like some little open source tool where you can create redeemable signed messages that can be redeemed on the ETH mainnet side. So yeah, on the ETH and in the tadpole contract, they basically read this message, make sure it was signed by the person that's trying to mint the tadpole, and if everything matches up, you get a tadpole minted to your ID.
Wait, Molly, you got to tell them about like the twins and the triplets too.
Okay.
Oh no.
So yeah. So basically, if you're one of the things that we airdropped on the Polygon side, if you were one of the original holders before our main sellout day, or where we sold through in 3 hours, if you held one of the original like 300 or so frogs.
Basically, if you had frogs before Rizzle joined the team and made some cryptic tweet and,
Right.
and we took off, if you minted frogs before then, you're a fro G.
Yes, right. To reward you for not selling because it had no real value. No, just kidding. Rewarding you for being there at the beginning, you got a Fro G badge. And for Fro Gs, they had a really high chance of minting twins. So if you burned, each tadpole costs 2 flies. So burning 2 flies, you could actually get 2 tadpoles if you mint twins instead of the usual 1. But everyone has a small chance of getting twins. So if you don't have a Fro G badge, there is still a chance you can get twins. And twins is basically a 2-for-1. It doesn't necessarily mean you have identicals. I didn't even talk about the tadpole traits. Basically, when you breed 2 frogs, randomly picks traits from each parent to make your tadpole, and we threw in some recessive traits as well. So there's some things you get that are just random.
We just tried to make it like a real life. Well, I don't know about real life frogs, but real life humans. Where you need 2,
yeah. Wait,
you need
aren't
2
there
frogs.
others?
Yeah.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, you need 2 frogs to make a tadpole. You need to feed them. They need to be fed with flies and very healthy. And there's some dominant traits and some recessive traits.
And some fun ones that just blend, like the chocolate donut and the strawberry donut makes a nice swirl.
What about the triplets? Is there such a thing?
We actually cut the triplets.
What about the triplets, Molly?
There was an early bug where you still got the right amount of tadpoles.
But it wasn't a bug. It turned out to be a feature.
It turned out to be a feature where you could. So say you could get triplets. Basically, 3 tadpoles took the traits from the first 2 parents, and 1 tadpole you got took the traits from your second 2 set of parents. Mm-hmm. If you're breeding a few at once, we did so you could batch breed with the purpose of saving gas.
The batch breeding is the coolest part though, because I minted like 13 tadpoles on mainnet for like 0.002 ETH each or something, which was pretty cool in gas.
Crazy. Yeah, that is really good right now. Cool. I want to dive more into what all the traits and stuff. I think it would be cool to pull in Minnie on our side, because we have a bunch of stuff that we just want to highlight too, which is we've completed the entire art process as far as converting all of the Axis into 3D, which is pretty insane.
Wow.
Of course, if you've been hanging out in spaces here, we want to try to bring in other partners too and help them turn their some of their collection into 3D in the Axe Aquarium too. So definitely that's on the horizon. But Minnie, do you want to talk about just that process and where we're at as far as the art goes? It's been quite a labor of love and lots of late hours here as far as actually getting this over the finish line. So we'd love to hear your thoughts on, and maybe you can share something with the community as far as where kind of our latest developments are at on the art side.
Yes, so, well, the hardest part was really converting all of the 2D Axos into 3D. So I feel like it's a recurring theme each week I'm here. We'll talk about that point. So right now, we finished all the all the art, all the 3D models for the Axolittles. And so right now, so another issue we had that we didn't really think about was the rigging of the clothes. Uh, for each axolotl, for each basically attribute, you have to rig the axolotl itself, but you also have to rig the clothes because otherwise they don't move when the axo moves. So right now we're finishing up the rigging of the each outfit, and yeah, I've sent I think how many days ago was it? I don't remember. On Discord, I've shown a little picture I've drawn of a room, and it had all furniture and everything. So that's what I'm working on right now. We've had a 3D artist do basically everything inside the room that will be available when the Aquarium comes out. And so right now I'm working on texturing, basically texturing all the furniture in a style that I enjoy. So I don't think I'll post screenshots on the Twitter right now because maybe it's a little early, I don't know. But if you go on our Discord right now, I posted a little picture of a desk and everything. So I'm trying to imitate the Animal Crossing style of furniture and all that. So that's what I'm working on right now, basically, while the devs are doing the Aquarium and all of that stuff.
Cool. Yeah, it's the previews have been cool, and we've loved all the community submissions of as far as putting music to the little walking axos. It's pretty definitely getting me hyped over here. From the on the fly frog side, do you guys have you thought about um, going 3D or how you kind of interact with this in these different in like Decentraland or Sandbox or your own type of world, or is that something you can't talk about yet that I'm trying to pry out of you?
No, man, we've actually had extensive conversations about that, and I'm interested in hearing like how your setup works, like in terms of your holders and like them interacting with it, and how it all plays out. I host weekly events in CryptoVoxels and have like distributed like hundreds and hundreds of wearables, so I'm like super familiar with CryptoVoxels. And I'm working with people who are like leaning very heavy into Sandbox, so those are my comfort zones specifically. But I think what we're really trying to do is tap into the skill sets of the people within our community already who are like super passionate builders and also super passionate about frogs, and see where their skill sets like lend themselves mostly, and try and sort of do this organically from the inside. But yo, I sorry, Josh, Melanie, I saw you guys on mute. Go ahead. Really interested to hear their stuff too.
Yeah, I'm super excited for, we had a big, Molly and I've been working hard to big, push the initial frogs and then also this tadpole and breeding. So I'm excited for one of the next phases where we leverage and include a lot of the amazing talent in our community to help us build out our world. And for me, it's kind of interesting. Like I'm super excited for Rizzle and people in our community to lead, bringing the frogs into 3D into other parts of the metaverse. But for me, since my with my skill set in toy invention, I've been making the frogs in 3D just to 3D print them out. So
That's super cool.
to make them exist like in real life rather than in the metaverse. So I'm excited for like exploring 3D in both of those avenues.
Yeah, we've taken the frog with us out to lunch and gotten some photo shoots, like him having ramen. And I could imagine a world where, like, not only are we hanging with everyone in the metaverse, but we can also see where people take their 3D frogs out in their real world.
Yeah. What I want to do is, I remember I do a lot of work for a lot of toy invention for Barbie, and I remember back like I think it was the early days of Instagram, someone had like got really popular on Instagram by taking photos of a Barbie doll like in context, like in real life.
Yeah.
I was inspired by that to do that with my 3D frog. And one of the next things, well, I'll try not to leak too much alpha rizzle here, but one of the things we want to do to reward people in the future is to be able to I want to make custom 3D frogs for people, and with the idea that hopefully they'll sort of emulate that popular Barbie thing and take funny pictures of their frogs out in the real world.
Yeah, that's super cool. It turns out frogs do like ramen, and that's been a good discovery over here.
They're good at slurping it up.
Yep, yep. Yeah, we've definitely been planning on our side. You know, how do we turn these into physical items too, and get that to holders? So definitely a lot of exciting stuff happening on that side, I think. And it's also been interesting just on these spaces. There's a lot of like people. You mentioned your background in like toy design. I seem to be running into more and more people coming into the NFT space that have backgrounds in like making and designing toys and different things like that are now, you know, like merging these two worlds. So that's been pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, I see a lot of like similarities and parallels between the two, between NFTs and toys. So I think I think I think the toy industry, people who work in the toy industry are in a good position to be successful in NFTs. I'm waiting and interested to see how existing toy companies make their way into NFTs. I know it's inevitable, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, yeah, we haven't seen it to too large of an extent yet, but we're as far as I mean, we're doing the outreach and we're trying to. I think there's a lot of they'll be pulled in sooner rather than later. I think as far as not wanting to miss out, especially with these large, you know, with the
Yeah.
artifact and stuff like that happening. So cool. As far as maybe we can get to some more stuff on what's coming up on your roadmap and our roadmap. I would love to hear your thoughts though, just on, you know, we're a few days before Christmas and then New Year's and all that stuff here. What's your perspective just on where NFTs are at right now in general? Obviously, we're pre-Coinbase NFT and all of that, but I would love to just get your thoughts from all of you on where you think we're at, where we're going next year, just in the short term. And Minnie, I know you got this question a lot, but if you have anything you want to, from me every week, I'm like, Minnie, tell me about where we're at in the NFT space right now. But would love to get your thoughts too, if you have anything new to add to.
Wait, so could you rephrase your question a little bit? So where are we exactly at in the NFT space?
Yeah, I would say like just I think our listeners always like to hear, you know, our perspective from working in the NFT space, just like your opinion on where we're at this week as far as the overall NFT space and going up or down, or you know, we've seen a lot of new people coming in the last week or two. So yeah, just where we're at right now, if you have any perspectives to share on that.
Yeah. So I think we're in a place where it feels like there are no new good collections, I would say. Tracking a little bit the new things that come out, and I think like there is less and less interest in the newer collections coming out. So in a sense, I guess it's all about competition. I mean, that's how it was. I mean, until that point, it was always about competition, you know. But right now, it feels like there's no new people coming in, no actual good projects. So I feel like, well, as I've said it, the key right now to succeed in the NFT space is to collaborate and create I would say like some kind of link, a web with all the projects around, and that's the way to go forward. Because,
you mean like swim in the same aquarium together?
Yeah, probably, maybe. We have some stuff like that on our roadmap. As I always said, the goal with the Aquarium, it's not supposed to be an exclusive thing for Axolittles. Our goal in the future is to include as much other projects as possible, and it would become a little metaverse of itself. And so, yeah, so that's basically for me. I think the way forward is to build in this Web3 ecosystem and try to make it as inclusive as possible for all communities. So yeah,
That's cool.
I think that's basically it.
Someday, Minnie, we're gonna splice together every weekly update, and we'll get a full view of the progression of the NFT space through your eyes, week to week.
Yeah.
Cool. What about Rizzle on your side, and then Fly Frogs too, Molly?
Oh man, I think we're in very interesting times in the NFT space. I think there are definitely some projects out there that have like utility, especially when I think of like the virtual worlds that are like starting to get bigger and bigger, and people are just like straight up using them more and more. So I think like with regards to use cases, I think the space like continues to grow, but I think we're also sort of past some of these like gigantic hype cycles. I personally would be like wary if I'm like holding some of these like profile picture projects that are just like 1,000x compared to like the main line, or the medium line profile picture projects and everything. And I think the ones that do well and will continue to do well are like NFTs that have interesting use cases or like actually add something to the ecosystem. But also communities, and I feel like that's what basically what you guys are saying, in terms of like collaborations and like working together. And I feel like a lot of what's overlooked in the like profile picture hate that goes on Twitter, that think these are sort of like shallow like money grab projects or whatever, like really overlook the aspect of a lot of the communities that have been built within these profile picture projects. And some of these communities, even if the prices aren't like through the roof, some of these communities are very strong and creative and have a lot of really, really intelligent people involved in them that want to ensure the success of these projects. And so that's one of like the most interesting things to me about the rise of these profile picture projects is they sort of get like cast aside as like cranking out 10K to try and sell as many things as possible, but you get like 3,000-4,000 people, community members in one shot that way a lot of times, and that can build like some really interesting dynamics. And I don't know, man. It seems like your community is strong. Our community is strong. It doesn't seem like no matter what the price is, like anyone's really going anywhere because we're doing fun stuff together, and it's not necessarily about that. Even though I'm pretty sure everyone would like love to get rich at some point. I mean, that's I'm sure what attracted a lot of people into this space before they knew anything about it in the first place. So I don't know, sort of a ramble. I guess I think we're through the big hype cycles, but I think NFTs as like an ecosystem continues to spread out and grow.
Yeah, definitely some really good points there, and I think it's been. It sounds like it was surprising on your side, kind of the community that grew out of it originally, and you never really know like where that's going to go. We've definitely been super surprised and amazed by everyone that's come into the community on our side and started different events, and we have so much going on just in Discord right now, just purely community driven. That is really, really amazing to see. And from the Fly Frogs speakers over there, do you want to also jump in on this?
Well, I'm really grateful to have Rizzle as part of the team because he really offers a different perspective. Like Molly and I just jumped in and did this project like 4 months ago. Like we're not really ones to talk too much about doing stuff. We prefer to just do stuff. So we came up with this idea and started working on it like just on a Friday night at the dinner table with the kids, and we just started working. So and whereas Rizzle he's like a true collector. I mean, you should see how many freaking NFTs he has. He's a true collector, and he's been in this
Nice.
space for a long time. And I'm just really grateful to have his like perspective and like confidence in the future, because I've come to realize like it was a little crazy. Like I drew a bunch of frogs. Molly made it all happen, and then we suddenly sold 10,000 of them, and it was a little crazy and a little bit of an emotional roller coaster. And now I think I've really come to. I'm excited that it was just there was a lot of hype, which is exciting. But I think I've come to realize that like this is like Rizzle and other people in the space have been saying, like, this is just the beginning. Like, we're really early. And so now I'm really excited to just work on and roll out all the other plans that we have, um, and be less stressed because we're going to slowly grow and be successful because we're here and we're going to keep working on it and the space is going to grow. Um, so yeah, I think I'm in a good point now where it's like, I realize that we're in a position to succeed now, because we sold a bunch of frogs and we have a strong community and we're beginning to develop relationships with you guys and other projects as well. And it really feels like we're all in this together and we're all going to grow together going into next year and the following years.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for your perspective there. I think it is really true. Like if you're, I think if you have a strong community now and you're really active, I mean, you have the base to grow something really special in the coming months. And we're seeing, I mean, especially with communities where the price isn't what it was a few months ago, and we're still super, super strong. I think that lays a really great foundation to take this to the next level and to really grow this and deliver value for everyone in the community going forward. So I think like the way we think about it too is that like we've gone through this initial phase and now we've been super, super busy building. And if you're a holder right now in either of our communities, you have a lot of really exciting things to look forward to as far as what's coming your way from the teams that are just working their butts off behind the scenes to actually deliver some of this stuff. So that's, I think, from my perspective, really exciting time to be part of a community, because there's teams are really going to have to build some cool stuff out to grow their communities and to keep their communities happy, and that's going to be good for everyone. So really, really looking forward to that. Speaking of which, I don't know, Minnie, what we can talk about here as far as our roadmap or things coming out. I don't think we can commit to any dates or things like that. Is there anything you want to kind of chime in on the trajectory as far as I know you already commented on the art that's getting finished and things like that, but what do people have to look forward to in our community as far as what they're waiting for and as AXO holders?
Yes, so right now the first step is obviously to finish the Aquarium as fast as possible. And so I guess you could weigh in on this later, but our goal is to include some partnerships, so I guess I don't know if you can talk about it later, Zaiter, but I know you've been talking with a lot of cool projects. And so, yeah, right now what they're waiting on is for us to release a version of the Aquarium first. And after the Aquarium is finished, we need to start working on the marketplace, I would say, the place where you would get items and all of that. So the website and the smart contracts and all of that, and figure out the way to minimize fees, because if each item in the Aquarium would be an NFT, it would create a lot of fees. So that's also a technical issue. So we're thinking about that.
We're gonna have to get Molly. We're gonna have to get you in on that to help us with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we also have to. So yes, so that would be including basically all the bubbles and creating the ecosystem. We would also have redeemables for the tokens that would be free basically. So you just take your Axo right now, you're getting bubbles, the token, and we would create some kind of shop where you could get some merch, maybe some figurines and stuff like that. I know Creep has been looking into providers and stuff like that. So that would be the next step after we finish the version 1 of the Aquarium.
Cool. That's great insight. Yeah, and we do for those that are listening, you can currently stake your Axos for bubbles. We've outlined it's a ERC20 token. We have over 1,100 staked, almost 1,600. It's been pretty fun for us because we now have this currency and we can develop a lot of different use cases and things to do with it. We've outlined some of those already. And one of the first of those is you have to be staking right now, and you have access to a bunch of different partnership drops and things like that. So we're also thinking about ways that we can pull in partners and work with people in low gas ways so that people have a lot of benefits without having to pay a ton of gas for it. But yeah, on the partnership side, obviously we have a lot in the works, and we will be having a lot more announcements coming out around those. We have some bigger ones that we're locking in and working out all the details with. So definitely some exciting stuff, but none as big as Fly Frogs, because you guys are just the most fun. What's coming up on your side that you haven't spoken to yet?
Rizzle.
I was just gonna say, this is the part where I tell Josh to stop leaking alpha.
Okay.
I mean,
no,
we have,
it's cool.
Should I spill all our plans? Wait, I'll just go on mute.
No, so all right,
exactly.
We'll do like a little alpha. So Josh and Molly were saying earlier that we've been creating these families. It takes two parents to make a tadpole. Sometimes you get twins, and we're going to be like rolling out incentives, probably somewhat similar to along the lines of what you guys are doing with Bubbles, but I don't think it's going to involve staking, but it will involve some sort of utility coin token NFT for those people who keep their families together, or maybe who adopt a family of fly frogs. And so we're going to lean hard into this family narrative and keeping these frogs and tadpoles together, and raise them in the pond properly with like cool, weird crypto incentives for those who do a good job parenting their frogs. So something along those lines. We're gonna probably release more details over the coming weeks, and then like actually roll out the thing early Q1.
Nice. That's a great way to keep families together. I think I'm looking forward to seeing how that rolls out. And is just for people that are listening to this also in the Axo community, is the process still rolling right now for creating tadpoles? Is there a timeline for that as far as like a limit for when you can do that by, or is that just kind of forever into the future you can bring two together to create a family?
For the foreseeable future, yeah, we're gonna leave that on. So we airdrop 10,000 flies, and you need 2 flies to make a tadpole. So when you factor in the twins, it's few more than 5,000 tadpoles can ever be created. So yeah, we like this idea of using the fly kind of tokenomics to keep the tadpole numbers. The tadpole numbers though will always be smaller than the frogs, which we think is kind of interesting.
So you do have some control. Is there a way to get your hands on flies if you didn't get them airdropped?
There is. So we have a collection on OpenSea called the Fly Frogs Fly Trap, and that is where you can buy your flies.
Wow,
yeah, and
that's
it's pretty
exciting.
cool because you're buying them from other frog holders. So we airdropped all these. We airdropped about 18,000 things to people, holders for free, which was possible because we pay the gas fees on Polygon, which is totally doable for us. And then people have been. So when you go and buy items from other people, like you're giving money to the frog holders. So it was a cool way. I think we're building out this ecosystem where when anything you receive from us, you can sell for profit, and when you get it for free, it's a pretty good profit.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Wow, how could you not want to go out and get some of these flies right now? I know what I'm doing with my afternoon. Cool. So that's super exciting, and definitely we want to stay in touch as far as different ways to bring the frogs and tadpoles into the Axo aquariums, where they are going to love hanging out because of the amazing environment down there. it's going to be quite the place with bubbles everywhere. So I think the frogs will like it.
Yeah, we love working with other projects, but we love other amphibians more.
Okay, perfect. Cool. I think if there are any questions, you can raise your hand. I think other than that, we'll wrap it up. We're going to share the recording of this, and we'll link to your website and everything like that, so people can go breed and make some tadpoles together, families together. Thank you for focusing on the wonderful family narrative over there, and we're definitely excited to be working with you. Any final words from any of you or from Minnie on your side?
Not really. Just I'm working on the aquarium, so be ready. And if you don't like the furniture, it's my fault. I'm the one texturing, so don't hesitate to give feedback in the Discord. I've posted some pictures, some early work in progress, and so yeah, that's it, I guess.
Nice. We're gonna have a good spot to hang out over there.
Thanks for having us. I'm really excited to see the furniture in the Axe Aquarium. I love furniture.
That's true.
You better get it right, Minnie.
Yeah, and from us,
Yeah.
From us, just keep an ear out. Like, we have yet to update our toad map, but we're gonna start releasing our plans, in the coming weeks and coming months. So we have a lot of exciting stuff up ahead, and I'll leave it to Rizzle to leak any alpha though.
Thank you, man. I actually am also looking forward to seeing the Axe Aquarium. I actually tried to set up a Rizzle aquarium like a long time ago with a bunch of my moving like fish NFTs, and it didn't really work out well at all. So I'm excited to see someone like execute this like much better than I could. So thank you guys for having us. Really appreciate your spirit of community, and agree with what you guys were saying earlier about how that we're all sort of in this together, and leaning on each other is the way forward. So appreciate y'all having us. Thank you guys.
For sure.
Yeah,
cool.
Thank you.
Let's make it happen. And thank you everyone for listening and for being part of this. And keep your eye out also for just the announcements around the drops in the coming week here for how to get your hands on some fly frogs if you're an Axel holder. And thank you all for being here. Have a good day, everyone.